everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the possibility of Adrien and Marinette becoming villains. Now when I say villains, I don't mean like Ladybug and Noir kind of villains. I'm not sure they'll get quite that evil and mean. But after the London special, Ladybug said some things that are a bit suspicious, and Adrien's reaction to it all wasn't great either, and it does seem one of them, or both of them, could start to veer off from the good side. Like, even at the end of the London special, we've got this stormy sky, and while in Origins, yes, it's stormy too during the umbrella scene, the music in the umbrella scene is really uplifting and sweet, but that's not the vibe in that scene, the London special. To me, this scene is signalling something bad is on the horizon between Ladybug and Count Noir, so let's talk about it.
Alright, let's go.
So as we all know, Marinette, as well as Natalie, Lyla, Tomoe, Kagami and Felix are all aware that Gaby Baby was Monarch Daddy, but they are choosing to keep this a secret from Adrikins. Now, while I do fundamentally disagree with this decision because it will hurt him more in the long run when he finds out, because he will find out, it's obviously being done as a storyline, so it hurts him. I get it. So I think when Adrien finds out, he could have like a little villain arc, and I think Marinette keeping this from him, depending what lengths she goes to keep it a secret, could also mean she becomes a villain too, although unintentionally. However, just a little disclaimer here, I know there are a lot of people who are really sympathising with Marinette for the decision, and others absolutely hate her for it. And honestly, I'm neither. I disagree with the decision, but I also understand why she's done it, and she's not done it because, like, she's trying to be mean to Adrien, you know what I mean? She's not trying to be horrible to him, but he will find out and it'll hurt more when he does, as Natalie says in Felix.
The longer you keep him in the dark about what you're doing, the harder it'll be on him when he finds out.
Which I 100% agree with, so I'm not really on any side. I feel bad for Marinette, but I also disagree with her. So let's take a look at Marinette first. And oh boy, there's a lot of parallels at the minute in the London special to Gabriel and Lyla. We've known since Volpina that Marinette is very against lying, and the only time she really does it is to go and transform, with the exceptions of a few other occasions, and she even says in Copycat,
"Sorry, but liars are losers. Cat Noir may annoy me to pieces, but he's never lied to me."
So while she is lying to Adrien for a very different reason to whatever Lila's random reasoning for doing it, which I don't really know why she'd lie about things that could easily be disproved on Google, but that's a problem for everyone who believes her. But either way, Marinette is still lying when she says stuff like,
"Ladybug knows. Ladybug holds the truth."
Like, alright, Lex Luthor, go back to bed. But you could perceive this as her trying to control the situation, which is something she usually does during Akuma fights, but I definitely think it could be interpreted as something more nefarious, that Ladybug is in charge and Adrien doesn't get to know until she says so, which, oh my god, is quite similar to Gaby Baby's treatment of Adrien. While I believe Gabriel did love his son, particularly in season 5, we saw just how controlling he was over Adrien, because he perceived what he was doing was in Adrien's best interest. Sound familiar? Marinette's doing the same. She's keeping this from Adrien because she perceives that what she's doing is in Adrien's best interests. They both share the same motivation. They will do anything to protect Adrien, whether it's something he actually needs protecting from or just what they think he needs protecting from. Obviously, their execution of this motivation was different. Gabriel will confine Adrien to the house and manipulate him with his milk, which was just child abuse basically, whereas Marinette isn't abusing him, but she's not telling him the truth. However, her keeping in this lie will affect her and her relationship with Adrien moving forward. While she does have people she can talk to about it, for example, I'm looking forward to how her relationship with Natalie develops, a lot of the people who know do disagree with her decision. Like Natalie, the London special, she was like, yeah, fine, I'll go to jail. And Kagami didn't really fight Marinette on the issue, she didn't try to change her mind, but it also didn't really seem like she was fully on board with what Marinette wanted to do, so I'm not sure how forthcoming any of them will be if Marinette needs to vent and gets upset with him or something like that, which could potentially leave her on her own. As we saw in Gang of Secrets, with no one to talk to about it, it will make her struggle and affect her mental health, and her hiding it from Adrien will then affect their relationship because she can't be truthful with him and he might stop trusting her. Like, she can't tell him what's really going on unless, of course, like in Gang of Secrets, she breaks down and tells him. But honestly, I don't think Marinette or Ladybug will be the one to tell Adrien. I definitely think Felix, Kagami or Natalie will try to tell Adrien, since Kagami and Natalie, like I said, didn't 100% agree with Marinette's plan, and Adrien still doesn't know he's a senti monster, and I think Marinette might go a bit crazy, going to extreme lengths to stop whatever it is they've planned. However, I do think we've all figured out by now that Lyla, or whatever name she'll be going by next season, will be the one to do it. As the season 6 synopsis says, the new villain is closer to them than ever before. and I am assuming that Lyla will be attending school with the kids again, obviously in her new Draco Malfoy disguise, but this time she won't lie as much and will be able to get Adrien Marinette to be friends with her. She'll get them to trust her and use this newfound trust to tell Adrien who his dad was, which he'll believe. Of course, Lyla could akumatize him because Adrien will quite obviously get upset when he finds out, but compared to Cat Blanc in Season 3 and an Ephemeral in Season 4, he has actually developed as a character since then, despite Thomas Astruc's weird insistence that he hasn't. I mean, personally, as a writer, I wouldn't admit to that about one of my own characters, but I also wouldn't do 90% of what Thomas does. So I think Adrien would just demand to see Ladybug and basically start screaming at her like he's not going to be happy. And he was pretty angry with Ladybug for not being able to save Gabriel in the London special, so he's going to get even angrier now that she's lied to him. I think he'll transform into Cat Noir, perhaps in front of her, perhaps not. And first of all, cataclysm the statue of his dad, thank God, I hate that thing. And then basically announce to the city that Ladybug is a massive liar, that she knows who Hawk Daddy was, and that he'll make sure Ladybug can't hurt the Parisians again. So while Marinette isn't being directly evil, because of her actions she is hurting people, and once everyone finds out that she has lied, I do think the Parisians will turn on her, which will be pretty ironic considering she said this in Origins.
Nice try, Hawkmoth, but we know who the bad guy is. Let's not reverse the roles here.
Like, Hawk Daddy affected all of them with what he did in some way, shape or form, and I do think they have a right to know who it was, and we could have like a Ladybug versus Cat Noir situation, where Cat Noir becomes like an anti-hero trying to save Paris from Ladybug. I do ultimately think it will be fine, as it usually is, but I do think it's possible that they could have a bit of a villain arc in the same season. And also, while I think Adrien finding out from Lyla is the most likely outcome of the situation, I do think there could be other ways he finds out. Like I said, Natalie and Kagami weren't mega keen on the plan, and we all know Kagami hates lying, so one of them may want to tell him. We don't know how Felix feels yet, we haven't heard from him on this situation, but I could see him doing it too, especially since Adrien isn't aware he's a centaur yet, and I think we have to consider the possibility that Adrien could just work it out on his own. I know in the London special Marinette destroyed the railings in the basement and the hell carousel upstairs, but I would assume the basement itself still exists, as does the upstairs lair, so Adrien could find it unless Natalie starts putting the house through a major remodelling, which will also perhaps involve covering up all the butterfly motifs in the house, like on the floor here. He could also read Marinette's diary, but he'd of course find out she's Ladybug from that, and I think that would be a bit too easy. I think I'd like to see him do his own investigation and find out that Ladybug was lying, and it'll be the same way as before, with Cat Noir becoming a villain to Ladybug, and Ladybug becoming a villain to Paris. I definitely think it's plausible. I don't think it would last that long, like maximum 3 episodes, but like, he has to be angry with her. He can't like be fine with this. Absolutely not. But anyway, besties, of course, I'd love to know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.